Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com. I hate to break it to you, but I gave up. All right, so sitting right here is my memory planner from 2023. She is a big one. She needs expander discs and actually most likely needs to be divided into two different planners just to make it a little bit more manageable. But here's what I meant in the intro. This memory planner is incomplete, and that is highly unusual for me. I definitely have that type A personality where I like to have things complete. I want to fill in all the lines. I want to fill in all the space. And that's not the case with this memory planner. And there are several reasons why that it turned out that way. And I thought I would kind of talk through memory planning, talk through my process with you all as we flip through my memory planner from 2023. So if you're interested in checking it out, stay tuned. I have discussed in previous videos, first of all, I've been filming a lot of flip throughs. Turns out I never ever write my name in the front of my planner. So that's an interesting little fact about me. I apparently don't do it not for fear of anything. I just never get around to it. So I don't use any of these pages at the beginning, and we'll come straight to January. I also don't use the monthly layout at all for my memory planning. I stick with the weekly layouts. Memory planning. This will be my third year. This was my third year doing memory planning, and I love it. I know about myself that I really like staying on top of my memory keeping. I like memory keeping as I go. I don't particularly enjoy going back years and memory keeping things that have happened that far in the past. I kind of like staying on top of it as I go. So that being considered, memory planning worked out really well for me for a long time. My process was I would print photos on Sunday or Monday. I have a printer or a photo printer at home. I'll link it down below. I loved it. I would print photos and I would sit down right at the beginning of 1 week and I would document what happened the week before. And it was great. And I would film the processes for YouTube and I very much enjoyed it. You can see I enjoyed adding the journaling. I was getting into a good groove, taking pictures. Well, then things started getting busier. And if I'm being completely honest, I was sharing content on YouTube on such a regular basis. And the memory planning videos were not as popular. And I was trying to change things up. I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to kind of reinvent the wheel each week with my memory planning. And it felt like a lot. And it felt laborious. And it kind of took some of the joy out of the memory keeping. And so when that happened, I remember when my bathroom down here, I forgot that 2023, what a great year. When that happened, I started feeling too much pressure to do the memory planning and to stay up. And so I would get a little bit behind. The farther behind I got, the less fun I had because I felt like I had to catch up. It just kind of spiraled a little bit through the year. So I kind of had some ebbs and flows on enjoying memory keeping. I love having it. The process of creating it just became a little bit laborious. Oh, this was Go Wild. So fun. Love, love, love. So that being said, I kept at it. I'm so glad that I did. Sweet Penny. I'm so glad that I did. I'm so thankful that I did because I love having this to look back on. But like I said, the pressure of like doing something new each week felt like a lot. And I think that was a false pressure I put on myself. So that's one big lesson. If your memory planning spreads look similar each week, maybe you like having your photos lined up vertically. Maybe you like having your journaling in a certain spot. By the way, this was a super fun spread I did. And you feel like, oh no, that's getting repetitive, then it's okay. It's okay if you find a method you like, a system you like, stick with it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. You also can give yourself some grace. So we get to April of 2023. There's no memory planning for April. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I don't have memory planning in April. I think I just got behind. I think things got crazy. And I think I decided to pick it up again in May. So I have a whole month that is blank. Makes me a little sad. But that's just how life kind of went. So then we go into May, loved using these supplies. I like it. I like looking back on these. You can see some weeks I had a lot less pictures because sometimes the busier the week, the less pictures we had. That's kind of how it went. So then we get into June, and I would kind of get behind a few weeks and then rush to catch up, and those spreads felt rushed. I very much enjoyed doing one spread a week. When I had to do several spreads in a row, it was a little bit more creatively draining, and so I struggled with those moments each week. That's super fun. I would struggle at times with like the catch-up process and how it felt, and then it just happened. Oh no, that's not one. So as we got towards the end of the summer, I think I even came on here and started saying, oh my goodness, how am I going to finish? How am I going to catch up? It's going to be too hard. And like here is where I started to feel like all of these look the same. They're all lined up vertically. They all have, ephemera. I was putting unnecessary pressure on myself. And I think that kind of derailed my efforts this particular year. I love looking back at these. Then, to be completely honest, there she is. I lost my sweet beagle in December. We had to make a very difficult decision, and Penny passed away, and it was very hard. She is my crafty buddy. She hung out in the studio with me, and once we lost her, I didn't feel like documenting pictures with her in it. Not because I don't want those pictures, just because it was difficult. And difficult things come up during your year, and they can squash your creativity. It happens. It happens to all of us. Life is not all rainbows and sunshine, and I love rainbows and sunshine, and I love looking on the joyous parts of life and the happy parts of life, because I think focusing on positivity is really important. But I think you can also admit when things are hard, and sometimes that definitely affects your creativity. And I definitely felt that through when Penny started kind of going downhill, and through when we had to put her to sleep. It felt like it squashed my creativity somewhat, and I did not feel like coming and doing memory planning. And that was just the case, and I had to accept that and kind of move on from there. So that's where we're at. This is September. I did make it through all of September, but I got to places like this. You can tell I had very little journaling, which is very unusual for me, and I was just having trouble. Very few pictures. We get into October. Did I do any weeks in October? I did. Maybe I made it through October. First week of October, second week, and then there's nothing. And then nothing in the end of October. I get into November, nothing in November. I did 1 week right at the end of November in an effort to play catch up, and then that's it. That was the end of the memory planning. And the truth is, I don't know if I'm going to go back and finish this memory planner because I'm anxious to try something new. I'm going to do a different method of memory keeping in 2024, so stay tuned for more info on that. And the truth is, if this were a regular scrapbook, not a memory planner, it is chock full of memories. In a normal scrapbook, you don't necessarily document each week, day in and day out. This one is still fabulous, and it's still something my family is going to love flipping through. It's still wonderful. It's still a great documentation of our year. Is it complete? No. But is it going to be well loved? Yes. So I wanted to come on here and be honest and let you all know that even when you're really dedicated to something, it doesn't necessarily get done, and that's okay. These are creative hobbies that bring us joy, and if for some reason it's not bringing you joy, you can take a break. You can change it. You can adjust it, and that's what I plan to do in 2024. Of course, now that I'm flipping through this, I'm like falling in love with it again and wishing that I were doing it in 2024. So that's a little different. I'm going to do things a little differently. I love the pictures. I love seeing the things. And so we're just going to do it in a different way that hopefully sparks a little bit more creative inspiration for me and maybe for you in the coming year. All right, so if you are interested in memory planning, I do have a ton of videos on my channel all about memory planning, lots of processes. Down below, I will link the supplies that I use on a regular basis for my memory planning, including the app on my phone that I use to print off photos, because I get that question all the time. So I will link that down below. And stay tuned for new plans on how I'm going to do some memory keeping in the coming year. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. Thank you all so much for all of your support. Now is a great time to join us over on Patreon. We have a lot of fun things kicking off for 2024. If you want to find out more info on the perks that you can receive, head to the link down below and you can start your 7-day free trial today. All right. I hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.